This could be a huge turning point in Marvel Strike Force. More gold is confirmed to be coming, but more importantly, the leaders of the Marvel Strike Force Players Voice group met with the devs. It went well. What else do we have to look forward to that is coming? We have some exciting stuff to share with you in this video. Also, update 7.2 is coming next week. We have confirmed a new war team. We also have the potential 4th new original character coming in Marvel Strike Force. We're talking about these things and the rest of the news in this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. This week, I'm joined by my brother, Run7. And if you're ready for our brother Run, tell him what to do.
Let's hopefully not smash all this optimism.
ValleyFlyin.
I like it, Valley Club. Let's not smash it. Yes, welcome back to the Valley Club channel. I am ValleyFlyin. Hope you're having a great day. This is your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update, where we talk about all the latest in Marvel Strike Force, good, bad, indifferent, and it seems like we got a lot of good to talk about this week. A lot of exciting things to discuss. And if this is your first time here on the channel, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. Normally, when we're not on vacation, at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel. But tomorrow, I am leaving for vacation, coming back on the 6th of July. And I hope to be making videos while I'm away, but we have a pretty packed itinerary, so I'm going to try my best. But this week, I am here with my brother, Run7. How the heck are you, brother Run?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Valley?
I am doing very, very good. A lot more hype than usual. There's a lot of positivity coming from Marvel Strike Force. How, with all the latest developments that we got this week, what are you feeling about the state of the game right now?
I am very hesitant. However, I want to be really optimistic. I want to be real positive. I'm really hoping that we've reached a turning point, and I do think that we have. And we'll get into this, but Scopely has made us out to be skeptics of every little situation that occurs. So it's hard for me to get real excited until I see the results.
I agree with you, but I think I tend to go towards more the optimistic side. So I think this is great. I hope this is some great stuff. I hope that we don't get blindsided by anything bad. But let's talk about the big news, the meeting with the MSF Players Voice Group and the devs. So what they wanted to say, they thought it went well. And the devs did say that they wanted to address all the requests in that 45-page document that they gave them. Now, a lot of players were under the impression that they're just meeting with Cerebro, that this was just a phone call. No, this is a big meeting. This is an in-person meeting with the devs, not just Cerebro, the players experience team, including Cerebro, but also the MSF general manager, who we have a letter from as a result of this meeting. Also the MSF creative director and the director of product. So this message here, have you read this entire letter, brother Run?
Oh yes, multiple times actually.
What did you think of it?
It's amazing the ambiguity that is in it for how quickly it was drafted and sent out. They don't paint themselves into a corner anywhere. There's 3 points that they make in it, and even those are pretty vague. However, being it's coming from the general manager, being it was so rapidly sent out to us, and the 3 points that they cover, this is actually really kind of huge, I think. The fact that they met in person is another big point, because I was talking with Evdog earlier, actually, and I told him, I said, the way that Scopely says no is through silence. And they have been communicating back to us. They've been taking the calls. They've been seeing people in person. They're serious about listening to the player's voice movement. And they're actually starting to even seemingly get a little bit more serious about listening to the envoys as well. And so I'm cautiously optimistic about all of this. And I think that we could really be reaching a good place in Marvel Strike Force.
I think so too. And what you say about the silence meaning nothing, and the silence about the ISO 8.5 screw up, they've said nothing since then. I don't think we're getting anything. This they're communicating, though. A lot of the issues that they want are communicating, and I think this is a great turning point. And let me read a few sentences here. I'll put the link to the full letter down below. It is on the MSF PV server if you want to check that out. The link will be down below, as well as the link to the 45-page document. But what Ryan Jacobson, the general manager of Marvel Strike Force, said, one of the sentences here: for too long, we've operated as a closed-off studio, and the player's voice seemed to fall void. We do not want to continue to operate in this fashion and look forward to closely collaborating with the community, making Marvel Strike Force into the most amazing Marvel experience of all time. So that is one of the things. So they want to collaborate more, and the proof is in the pudding. So we'll see what they do. But they said, as a good faith gesture, we wanted to flag a few points we've heard a community that we're taking immediate action on. So this is not the only thing they're addressing. This is just the 3 points that they want to take immediate action on. The first thing that they mention here is gold, which has been one of the major pain points for me, Run 7. I know it's been limiting some of the new characters that I have, and it's just not as exciting. So I'm glad they've addressed this. We're working on future gold injections. We're immediately going to be adding gold rewards into the award season rewards. Player will see this reflected in the game in June 18th, so just in a few days, and the first payout will be on July 2nd. Now, are you expecting some kind of big gold increase from this war payouts, something minimal? A lot of chat this morning was saying, "Oh, it's going to be a whole 100,000 gold." What do you think this is going to be? And this looks like just the first step in a line of things that are coming as far as gold.
We were talking about this in chat as well, and we kind of came up with a meaningful and really. What would be great would be as if they added 10 million to the war season rewards.
And that's every 2 weeks.
They're not going to do that, but we think that would be a genuinely a fair compensation to add 10 million gold in there. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I'm expecting less than 5 million gold. And I think what they're going to do is this is going to be the first place they put it, and then they're going to sprinkle gold throughout other game modes and whatnot. But Scopely always likes to start out undershooting things. They always go for less than what is there, because you can't nerf a thing in video games. You can't go back and reduce it. So they're going to start out missing the mark, and then they'll add a little bit more depending on our reaction to it. So I would hope that Reddit and other places would react horrifically to whatever number they get and just try and get some more, I guess if they do come out with 10 million, then hey man, take it as a win then, I guess. But I don't think they're going to do 10 million. My guess is probably somewhere between 2 and 5 million gold into those war season rewards.
It's a good start. That's a good start. Every 2 weeks. So that would be, if it's the high end, 20 more million per month, or if it's the low end, like you're saying, 4 million per month, all of that would be good. I'm hoping that we get the gold, but yeah, the devs have said exactly what you said in previous interviews, Run 7. They always start out very low because they don't want to nerf stuff. It's easier for them to expand things and not very easy to bring them down. So this might be low. This might be lower than a lot of people are expecting. And if it's lower than you expect, let the devs know. Let your voice be heard. Tell them that this is lower than wanted. This is important, because this next point on agency. This is what has been missing for me as far as the fun factor here. We're continuing improving, expanding theory crafting opportunities. Dark Dimension 6 was the first step for us. We also will be less prescriptive in Cosmic Crucible starting with next season, as well in the raids in the next iteration of the Incursion raid. So I think a lot of people were upset at this third season of Cosmic Crucible. The rules were pretty much the same as the second season, just moving down a few spots. This indicates that they're not going to be doing that. They're going to be doing some brand new versions of Cosmic Crucible in future iterations. And I'm not sure what they're going to do with the raids. They said they're going to give more theory crafting in the raids. They've had these traits, specific traits, for so long. Do you think that the next iteration of the Incursion raids will open up some traits? And what do you think we're going to see for Cosmic Crucible? Is something totally different? Just a few of these rooms, maybe the Wakandans and the Master of Evil and the other teams, if they sold us? Or are we going to get something so totally different, Run 7?
So we've heard this before. We're committed to doing whatever it is you're bitching about lately. That we've heard that before. So
this one is from the general manager, though. We've heard that from Cerebral a lot. This one's from the general manager. I don't know if that's different or not, but I'm crossing I'm the optimistic guy. I'm thinking this is a good thing.
I've heard this before. However, if you combine this, and Dorky Dad said this in his video, so I don't think I'm breaking NDA. They have been asking us for feedback on how to change room rules in different game modes and raids and things like that.
Okay.
So I really feel that they are going to do something, because they wouldn't ask us for our opinions if they didn't actually plan on changing stuff. So I'm hoping to see in Incursion raids at least sections of those raids. Like maybe they'll add a section or two instead of just a boss node that's open to anything. They'll have a section or two with a wider variety of choices, so we can use our raid teams in a mix and match fashion. I'm hoping for that. I do think that the Cosmic Crucible room rules are going to be just clean swept off and start something completely different.
I hope you're right on that,
There's
man.
been
I hope
so
you're right
much
on that.
negative press over that conveyor belt of garbage that no one likes. I'm sure they're just going to wipe that clean. And I hope that they kind of pay attention with War as well, and they don't start doing to War what they did to Cosmic Crucible. As far as Dark Dimension 6, I don't know. That's always been pretty good, I think. That's enough agency for me. I don't want, like, if it's not broken, don't fix it kind of thing. And it was close enough in the last iteration, so I would hope they would just continue on that path.
Yeah, I love the choice. I love the agencies. Sometimes it's a little hard to get some of those pieces, but I do like that we have choices for that. I do like that they're bringing it back. Now, the last point that was brought up here for the Players' Voice group, this is probably the biggest point. The Players' Council, it's happening. Internal discussions have begun, and the first meetings have booked to iron out the details with Players' Voice representatives, which is why I say they have more meetings scheduled. And if we look at their 45-page document, what they wanted, the reason they wanted a Players' Voice is we feel that a Players' Council is long overdue in Marvel Strike Force. There is a large impassioned group of players, users that wish to continue playing Marvel Strike Force for a very, very long time, but it feels at times the game is going in the direction not in sync with the actual players of the game. The purpose of the Players' Council is to provide an ongoing voice from the community to balance Scopely savvy for creating a continuous feedback loop between the devs and the actual users of Marvel Strike Force. I think this is a great win as well. What kind of effect do you think this is gonna bring to Marvel Strike Force? We've had other things in the past. This is the first time they've agreed to something like this, where we're getting feedback. They've done that with Envoys, but not with a lot of the players that are going to be represented by this players group because of the polls and the amount of representation that they have. How big of a win is this? Am I making this bigger than it should be, or is this? Are you thinking it's a big win as well?
It depends on how seriously they take the Players' Council group. You know. Okay. We're in a group that hasn't been taken seriously for a very long time and has been quite ignored. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so if they just ignore them as well, then that's what I'm worried about, is that at first they're going to make some big changes to try and keep players from leaving, bring some players back, grow their player base at least a little bit, or at least stop, the shedding of players. And then after a while, they're going to return back to their greedy habits of pushing people into doing things with lazy room rules and lack of agency and all that nonsense, these cookie cutter teams. And they'll start going back to it because that's the easy way for them to push us to buy things in their game. And so as long as they continue to listen to the group and at least give players a place in the game where we have the freedom to experiment and play with our entire roster in the ways that we want to, at least one game mode that's kind of wide open for us to use, then I think it'll be okay. But if they do this, if they ignore this players group and they go back to their old habits, which I'm worried they might do, then I think it's going to be 1 year of fun and then it'll be the downhill slide again.
I think the logical way is to think like you, but I want to think a little more positive, because I think a lot of the times in Envoys, it's us communicating with Cerebro, us communicating with the other community managers. I believe, and I could be wrong in this, but I believe this player council is going to speak directly with some of these general managers, creative directors, directors of product, the rest of the players experience team that will hopefully get their message communicated better than us having to try to communicate what we want to Cerebral or Archangel and then try to do that third. So I'm hoping this works better. It may not. And the other thing that I do want to mention, previous movements that they've had, the save MSF, the fix MSF, once we've gotten something from the devs, that movement totally goes away. We've gotten a few things from the devs, and this is still here, and it's a keep going and keep going. So I think this feels a little different. I hope I'm right. And
they've set this up to be something that's in place and continuing. And EvDog has talked to me and reassured me that he's trying to put in place guardrails, is the term that he used, to keep this thing on track and keep everyone focused and going forward with the game. We've never had a movement like this before. It's always been ultimatums and boycotts and stuff. This is something totally different, and it's working. They got in the room with the top people, in-person meeting. That's huge.
It's awesome.
It's definitely working.
Yeah, I like it. All right, so a lot of exciting stuff coming. We will see what happens. Commitments have been made. Let's see what happens with it. I'm very optimistic about this, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's move on to the other exciting things. Update 7.2 is coming in. We have a date that they're targeting for in this blog post here from June 12th. They said version 7.2 targeting for release on June 21st. It looks like we're getting some big things coming next week. We have big time Spider-Man that was announced. Super-Skrull should be coming. It looks like it's coming next week. We have a blog post coming this Friday. Normally they announce all the characters, all their kits before that. I'm thinking Friday we'll get the rest of these characters. What are your thoughts on when we're going to get the announcement for the remaining characters that are coming? We know 2, but usually there's between 3 and 5 that are each patch. So when do you think we're going to get the announcement for all this?
I think we're going to get, at the very least, a really good tease in Friday's blog post. At the very least, we'll get like some team ideas or something of what the next team is to come out. That's my guess. I have no idea when they're going to tell us. They seem to be mixing it up a little bit and being a little more secretive with the release of their characters. They've tried some new things this go around, like that big picture that had Baron Zemo 2.0, what's his name? Union Jack in it. So I'm hoping they give us another picture like that. That would be kind of cool if they did that.
I like those
with
teasers.
Hidden characters. Those are fun. Yeah, they're fun.
Silhouettes,
the community gets involved and gets
pictures.
stuff to
I like
talk
all
about.
those.
Yeah. So that'd be neat if they did something like that. I'm not expecting that, though. I'm just expecting a good tease in the blog post, and then the next week the patch will go live and we'll be able to see all those characters. I love that they're putting out these targeting release dates. Hey, we're going to try to do this here. They're giving us some schedules. I like that. We don't have to hold them to that exact date, but I like that they're giving us a little bit more info on when things are happening.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of companies, have issues and things like that. But I like that they're giving us dates. They're saying it may not be released exactly on this date if we run into problems, but this is what we're shooting for. So I do like that. More communication is always better than less communication. Also in this blog post, because it does address a few different topics here. Raid rewards are correct now, but they were incorrect at the last launch. Super-Skrull's ability got updated. Now, this was a text change, they said. Is this a nerf? Do you think this was unintentional? Do you think this is a change? A lot of chat was saying that this is a nerf, but I think this character is not in the game yet. This is not a nerf because he's never been released. So what are your thoughts on this? He's getting 1 per turn when enemy is attacked. He's doing that attack. Before, you could have had multiple attacks with isolate attacks, things like that. So what do you think of this text change?
He would be absolutely broken if an AoE hit all the exposed and triggered it 5-6 times or something. It would be ridiculous. So you can't have that. That's like somebody said this. I think Mobile said this. It's like the Kestrel passive. If you do an AoE and hit multiple defense downs, she just pings 1 person. That's all it is, and that's fine. That makes sense to me. What's crazy is that this is like a year-long event style character. And I don't know how long they've been working on it, but it feels like about 12 minutes because the kit, when it first came out, and behind the scenes even worse, was just poorly written, super confusing, constantly revising the text again and again, and one more time here to make people understand what's going on. And it's like, how long have you been working on this character? Why is it still being needed to update? And it scares me that this character is going to release and they won't have live tested it. They will have just simmed it everywhere with all the bugs baked into the kit. And they'll have to go through iterations of updating it. I hope they don't do that. I hope they give it to us on the test server and we can at least point out, hey, this is not working as intended. But it makes me nervous when they have to rewrite his kit. But as far as the functionality of this, no, this is how it should work, and I'm okay with them rewriting it to be more clear.
I wonder if they're changing the kits because they'd revise it. I wonder if they're just changing the text to make it more clear, or if they're actually changing the JSON files in the background. I think from what it seems, they're just trying to make it clear so players understand what's going on. But
I think this one is for clarity. But it wouldn't surprise me if they were like, "Oh, wait, we never tested it live. Look, that's blowing everything up. We need to change that." Rather than release Apocalypse and then have to rework him and then.
We've been
You
playing
know?
Marvel Strike Force for so long. Nothing should surprise us at this point, right? So,
Nothing.
nothing. Even millions of gold is suddenly in our inventory and then whatever. Nothing surprises me anymore. All right. But the team final listening community's feedback on the first monthly item, Stone Cold Drink, was difficult to obtain. So did you obtain a Stone Cold Koozie, Brother Run?
Nope, I missed it. I wasn't paying attention, and that was a tricky one. Most of these at my level, I can attain just by regular, just being fully engaged in play, and it just happens on its own. This one, I needed to push harder than I did, and I didn't make it. So I was happy to hear what they did with the Koozie. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, my FOMO kicked in, Brother Run. I saw it was short. Like, all right, I got to spend a lot of energy. I went power core. I spent a bunch of power cores for this. But the good news for you and anybody that wasn't really paying attention, 40,000 points. Meta item is going to be added to an upcoming Pride event. Looks like there's a Pride event, a Pride character that is coming in this next update as well. More in the blog post coming tomorrow. So we'll see what this is exactly attached to. I think this is a good thing. So everybody that didn't reach these milestones, you still have a chance to reach all these Korg milestones and get these Korg shards.
And what happened with me, and I'm sure this probably happened with other people, is I missed the Koozie. And so I'm like, well, I'm 40,000 points short. I'm not really going to try for this other stuff. And I stopped trying, thinking Korg just wasn't going to be a character for me.
Oh, for the rest of the events.
And then they announced this. And so I go back and I'm like, okay, I blew 1,000 cores in the last 2 hours to make sure I got the jumpers. And I bet that happened to other people too. They need to make sure to make the first items real easy to get, and if they want to make them more challenging, make the latter ones harder to get, because people will just give up early if they know that they're going to miss that huge chunk of milestone points.
Yeah, and when and from a psychological perspective too, if you've done all these milestones, you got it, and you're just a little bit short, like,
right,
I guess I'll just spend. So it makes sense for them as well to do it like that. But I don't know why they did like this. So, but hopefully anybody that's shooting for these milestones doesn't miss out and is still able to get it. Now, we also had another announcement for some other things that got changed. This one was about the Tough Crowds leaderboard. To qualify for the leaderboard, the event Tough Crowds initially had players scoring 42,000 points. They lowered the minimum to 22,000 points. Now, this is a sentence that, and I know that's good for this event, but this is something that really, I hope they do better on this. Now, they said the commitment to putting the minimum score in the blog charts was made not long ago. This was in regard to the events that did not state the minimum points in the game. Minimum points can now be seen in the game by going to an event, selecting ranking tab. The minimum score will be listed in the bottom left corner. This is the part that I don't like. If there's no number, it should be understood the minimum point is 1. With all their errors, I don't know if we should understand that. I don't want to assume anything from Scopely. This is not
trusting you.
No. They should write it in the blog post. That way, if it's gone, like, all right, something's gone here. Not just it's nothing there. It's 1. And then at the end of the event, people are like, it's 20,000 points.
If it's not written and it is 1, that's better than 0, which would include the entire player base and make things kind of weird. Scoring wise,
it's better for the percentage rank rewards.
I guess it would be. I guess
I don't like it. 0 is better than 1.
There's times when that comes back to bite you though, and you don't want all of the inactive player base being included in stuff. But it should be understood. That's one of those things. I don't know. It's, do we want number 1 written every single time, or would we like the safety assist to be written in game so we can see what the basic counter assist is in characters? There's information.
Why does it have to be one or the other, Rod? Why not all that stuff?
Yeah, just give us the information, for crying out loud. It's written on somebody's clipboard at Scopely. I don't know why they can't just type it in. And then, okay, so backing up a little bit, the 22,000 points are reverted from 42,000 down to 22,000 points. This is one of those things that if they paid a single person to go through on a test server and check this out and look at the math on this, they could have figured this out in 15 minutes and gone, yeah, that's a small window of people for all these ranked rewards. We should probably open that up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
now there's still an issue with this event. Even with this change and all that stuff, I don't know if most people are going to unlock the Doc Ock costume. As you can see with this ranking rewards, if I take my camera off, you can see that it says that we're at the ranking rewards. So I guess we've already met the 20,000 points. Now, if you look at these rank rewards, though, there's 6,000 of these silver phase bits in this. If we look at these milestone rewards, you're getting the other 4,000 in your milestone rewards. This milestone 20 is extremely difficult to get. I think that's like 1,600 or ISO 8 energy per day. Life is event. I didn't do that. I'm not getting this. So these rank rewards, while it's good for this ISO 8.5, I need a lot of that stuff. This affects the Doc Ock costume 0 for me, and I'm not really pushing on this event. What are you? Has this changed this event for you as well? There is no meta item with this event, so this is just kind of bonus stuff.
Wait a minute. This game has costumes. I wouldn't know because I just don't care.
Well, it may have just crashed the game for you, so that's why you don't never see them, or it's on these invisible characters that are always invisible, or characters that you place on defense that you never see. So
characters we never use. Why do we care about a Doc Ock costume? I hear that
it looks cool. It looks cool. I'm not using
against the new Warriors in Crucible or something. Yes. You can throw Doc Ock in there
on defense.
Or something. So maybe we will start seeing this. I don't know.
But on defense, that's another defensive character. That's another defensive character.
Who cares? Yeah, when it comes to milestones, I look for the event item, whatever I need to be. I skip the whale stones, forget the Kraken leaderboards. I just ignore all of that. All it's going to do is frustrate you if you look at it. So ignore that stuff. Go for what you can reasonably get without destroying your personal life and have fun playing the game.
That is a good attitude. All right. So this next one, this family Bedrock, is going to be a lot easier to not worry about that stuff. The meta item, not that bad to get. You could do war battles, you could do training orbs, and spend power cores with the web milestones, or some combination of each. Now, with this, I don't know if it's really worth pushing too far for this. I definitely want to get this meta item. But for this, you got to do your war battles. There is a minimum or the maximum that you can get, the 30,000 points for your war battles there. The rank rewards are okay. Now, I don't know. How many power cores are you spending per day on this? I'm going for the 200.
It's like every other day I max it out. I get halfway one day and then max it out the next day.
Oh, that's smart.
Because like you'll end up getting a bunch of the free refreshes kind of stocked up. And so you won't be spending that many power cores on your core refreshes. And so on that day, I just do half of these milestones. And then on the next morning, I'll blast through those core refreshes, spending my actual cores and try and push to the end of it. You actually had a good breakdown video of the family Bedrock stuff of how you can approach that. So
yeah, there's a few different ways. You could spend more power cores. You could use more training mats. But the war battles are pretty much there. So
I've opened up all my training orbs because I didn't have a lot of them to begin with, so I might as well just open them all up.
Yeah, might as well.
And it's not like that currency doesn't really go to waste. It just sits in your account after you open those orbs. So you don't have to use the training mats. You just have to open those orbs. Which the only thing you're hurting yourself by opening those orbs is if they have a future orb opening event. Now, they have been alternating between gold orb opening events and training orb opening events recently. So maybe that pattern is going to continue. So I have been hoarding both of those orbs until there is an event active.
Yeah, and same with the gold. You could open all the gold. You don't have to spend all the gold. Open all your gold orbs. You could have 100 million gold in your inventory and then just spend it when you need to, and then
it's not like those gold orbs are giving you much gold anyways. So you're averaging 120,000 gold out of an orb. It's pathetic.
Yeah. All right. Next question on this event though. You shoot for the meta item, and that's it. I'm probably shooting for there as well. Who is it worth shooting these Korg orbs for? Someone that had a big surplus of training orbs, or is this for the people that just want to spend a lot of power cores? Who are these Korg shards for?
If you spent on the Thor unlock and you get Thor unlocked and use him in war, that's going to give you the bonus points, right? So those dolphin and light spenders, they're going to get those extra points, which will help them get through these milestones pretty easily. But I'm not sure. I mean, I'm looking off the top of my head. That looks about like 30,000 extra points. So that's not a ton of points, but that'll help get you a little further in those milestones, at least to that event item rather easily. So I think it's kind of for those people. I don't know what is beyond the meta item milestone. I just don't know what that feels like. I don't even care to try. So if you're asking me, why push for a leaderboard or something? I don't know. That's just not my bag.
That's another person's question. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Ron. All right, but we talked about it. There's another character coming, an original character, the fourth original character, and this was announced a long time ago. I didn't make too much of it. I kind of forgot about it till this morning, brother. And this was all the way back from April 5th. Original post went out on March 11th. So this may have been all the way from March, but it was edited. We go down to this post here. It does say about the original characters. Later in 2023, Marvel Strike Force will introduce a 4th original character, Vahl, the game's first non-binary character. Vahl is one of the first Asgardians and the keeper of Valhalla. This was also announced in this post here, this Strike Time episode, and this is from March 21st, 2023. Let me play this real quick and just so everybody gets refreshed on what they said.
Players really loved her.
We have our 4th now original character named Vahl.
I'm super excited this is going to be our first non-binary character.
Vahl has taken the items of key Asgardian villains.
They will also have this little baby phoenix, which is really cute and was really fun to draw.
So we love that you guys are bringing together all these great ideas that we can help nurture and grow.
All right, so that is what we know so far about Vahl. What do you think is going to be? They mentioned the expose mechanic for super-skrull. Do you think this character will be the next character that has the expose mechanic, or will that be reserved for the next legendary?
I will say this. Vahl is an Asgardian. Asgardians are traditionally mystic characters. So unless there's something weird, like she's like a tech mystic or something, dual character, I don't know. But I would expect that this is going to be a mystic character, which leads me to believe that she would be part of a mystic raid team. A lot of other people are coming to that same conclusion. I don't know when she's coming to the game. I don't know how she functions. I don't know if she's going to use the exposed mechanic. I would expect new characters to use that, and being it is a Scopely original character, you can bet she's going to be OP. Every single one of those characters has been a winner, right? Even Deathpool, who was probably the weakest of them, still a very valuable character. The battery, and then just reworked so that she can use her ultimate in a single match. Like, these are great tunes. So if Vahl is coming out, I would grab them immediately, build them quickly. I'm certain it will be a powerful character.
I agree with you. Every single one of their original characters has been very, very strong. Let me know your thoughts. What is Vahl going to be used for? How strong is it going to be? Is she going to be more Kestrel level upon release, Weaver level upon release, making that kind of impact, or Deathpool level, or somewhere in between? It looks like it's going to be a combination of a lot of strong characters. I mentioned a Phoenix Force in there as well.
Every one of these characters utilizes something a little bit different. The energy battery and super kill ultimate off of Deathpool. You've got the pings with Kestrel, the defense down. Her just a really powerful character. Spider Weaver with the dodge mechanic, the evasive thing. So it's something new. So I think they're going to utilize some new technique. Exposed sounds as good as any. We know that's something new coming to the game, so maybe she will do something. But it could be something completely different. I expect it to be a very powerful character. Being it's a non-binary character, this might not appeal to some groups in the game, and so I think they might even compensate.
It's a character.
Well, I mean,
another character coming.
Let's be real. It might, and so I have a feeling they may even compensate by making it even more powerful. We had Kestrel come to the game, and everybody's like, "Who the F is Kestrel?" And she became one of the most impactful characters ever released. So I think we're going to see something like that with Vahl. I don't know that, though.
We'll see.
We'll just have to see.
We'll see. We're the updated dropping. They said on the 21st. Their schedule drops the 21st. That's the latest we'll find out. So we'll see what happens then. All right, other characters are coming. We talked about this last week. Big time Spider-Man, and this was disappointing for me. This is the Infestation team being a war defense team. This is one of the most disappointing things. Now, the good thing about this, we do have that exhausted mechanic. So it's not going to be another Heroes for Hire situation over and over and over again. But when you saw that this is going to be a war defense team, how did that make you feel? I mean, we've had a few other defense teams released in a similar fashion, like the Marauders. One new character reworks to other characters. Young Avengers, similar. We've had to rework a few characters with some new characters. They both went on war defense. How strong, how impactful do you think this team is going to be on war defense?
Well, a couple things to unpack here. I think they're going to be incredibly good on war defense. War defense teams are notorious for being very frustrating. It's a problem we have to solve. I think that much like Weapon X was kind of a soft counter for Heroes for Hire, I think the Nova the Nowhere team is going to be a soft counter for this out of the gates. However, they're going to sell us something down the road that'll really counter it. That's the pattern. We're used to it.
Is Vahl the counter for this big time
Could be.
infestation?
Maybe we've got an offensive Asgardian team coming out of the gates. I don't know. That would be kind of cool.
Counter the hero Asgardians on defense.
And if they could be used against the hero Asgardians on defense as well, I would probably be happy with that too, because I'm tired of cheesing that team.
I love cheesing that team with my Eternals and my Zombie. I love that.
Yeah, I've been using Eternals and X Factor in a combo there on those. I am surprised by the community's reaction. The initial reaction was, oh no, it's one character and 4 reworks for a defensive team that's going to be built easily and cause us a big problem. We know that. But a lot of people are actually excited because there's going to be some city characters being built on this team. They're pretty cheap and they might go into DD6. There's also a lot of people that are very excited about this because it's a skippable team. Of course, the more we start saying that, the more they will make them unlock something important or be used in a scourge.
I thought that as well, but the past 2 teams, the Marauders, the Young Avengers, the Hero Asgardians, or maybe the Hero Asgardians were used, but the Marauders and Young Avengers, not really. I guess the Scourge, you could use some other characters.
The Young Avengers turned out to be a pretty solid team, though.
Yeah,
the Marauders
use them
the one
everywhere.
that really missed.
Use them everywhere. And if their kits, I don't see them being like a Young Avenger. There's too much war defense specific in their kits, especially with big time Spider-Man.
Right.
We'll get to it in a little bit. Actually, let's talk about him now. Big time Spider-Man. We talked about him as a member of this infestation team. New character coming. Hero City Tech Controller Spider-Verse. So more city characters. There's a lot of stuff for war defense. His big ultimate, all this good stuff here is only when he's charged. He gets that charge on war defense. Does he have a lot of value outside of this game mode? I'm thinking it's more war defense.
If they gave him the Web Warrior tag, a lot more people would be building him for a Dark Dimension City run, because I know a lot of us endgame players have Web Warriors that would be decent in City. If they meshed with him, I don't know how valuable that's going to be. I think it's a tag they could add to him, and it would increase his value a little bit without affecting major gameplay, and it would be a good call out. Kind of like how Agent Venom has the symbiote tag. It doesn't change anything, but it was a nice call out. So I wish they would put the Web Warrior tag on him. I think that other members of the team might be better for Dark Dimension, being they're so cheap to build, and then you could combine with other characters that you might like, throw them in with Shang-Chi or maybe Cloak and Dagger or whatever you want to do for the city. This city stuff.
Yeah, I do want to talk about those original characters. One thing I did want to bring up before we moved on from big time Spider-Man, it's a special. There's some good stuff here. Clears barrier, clears revive once, does no damage though. Is this clearing all barrier and the revive once enough to make up for no damage on this special? And this is a 3-turn cooldown as well. Or does it need something? Is this not as impactful as you would want it to be? Because I was a little disappointed by this, but maybe I'm missing something.
Well, the gain anti-sound mode and clear the stealth mode, the switching of those modes is a mechanic that's kind of new to us. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. And I think that's kind of what you're going to be using his special for, is a switch modes. And as for apply offense up and defense up for 2 turns, that's not a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal, but we see that sort of stuff. That's not anything new to his kit. The unavoidable attack and cannot be blocked, seems kind of weird.
What is the attack? Clearing barrier and revive once? Is that the attack? Because I see zero damage here.
Yeah, it has to do with that anti-sound mode, which is in his passive, I believe, and you'd have to see how that works. But it's written a little weird. That's something that needs to be tested and figure it out. Anytime they introduce a new game mechanic, and this is like a light mechanic, right? You're not actually getting a new icon in the game or anything. It just kind of does a weird thing. Yeah. And I'm curious to see how it works. I'm sure it's going to be buggy as hell.
We'll see how it is. My expectations are very low for this character, but hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised. Let's talk about these reworks. Now, you got 4 characters that got some significant stat boosts. 3 of them, I think you have a question of some usable outside of this team. One of them I don't see too much. First one I want to talk about is Ant-Man, because he's the first one on this blog post. I guess the big thing people are thinking this is for the Gamma raids, the Pimtech section, the Quantumania section, of the Gamma. Do you think that he's worth building up right now if you do have that Quantum lane, that Pimtech lane in the Gamma raids?
I think it's an outside kind of niche thing. I think if you're already doing that lane or something, or if you have an Ant-Man that's relatively built up, you might be able to move into that lane or something. I think this is just going to be a thing where strike teams can rearrange who's in what lane based on your roster. I don't think people are going to go out of their way to build him. And let's be clear, I'm not necessarily building any of these characters for DD6. I'm not even thinking about DD6. And I don't have that lane, so none of this affects me. I'm probably going to skip the team as far as I can and see how it goes. And I've got most of these characters at gear tier 13, so I could build big time and throw them on defense as a medium speed bump.
I think you just do that. I think you just do that anyway. These characters, you leave them where they have built, unless you're like in a gamma raids, which is where, or unless you do the gamma raids, have those specific lanes for those PIM characters. I guess Yellow Jacket, same boat as Ant-Man. If you have that lane, worth building. If not, I'm not sure. Now a lot of these PIM characters, they did have some Dark Dimension bonuses. Do you think that's going to come into play later, especially with these stat boosts to two of them, these characters, or they still are trash?
Well, the problem is that the good character for Dark Dimension on the PIM Tech team was Ghost, and she's not getting reworked, and so it's kind of like,
because she's not a bug.
Is it gonna be? Yeah, she's not a. Well, I mean, spiders aren't bugs either. They're actually arachnids, but whatever. That's semantics.
In Scopia's world, they're bugs.
Yeah, it's an infestation of a variety of insectoids. I guess.
Insects. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, are arachnids? I don't know.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, we got some weird tags going on in this game anyway, so I'll just try to ignore it.
I don't have a lot of thoughts on Swarm, but let's move on to Black Widow, the other character that I think might have value. Now, this character, very, very cheap, building her up for Dark Dimension. Great speed bonuses, always had a strong kit, but her stats were the ones that didn't keep with the game. Now she's got the updated stats. Is Black Widow now a candidate? I know you said that you weren't taking this character in. Do you think other people that might be struggling with some of the gear would take Black Widow? The community is
pretty excited about it. I hear a lot of different people thinking about building a lot of different members of this team for a variety of different reasons. But it's not like it's a catch-all team. It's not super powerful everywhere or anything. There's just a lot of niche things that you can do with individual picks. But right now, until we see, on the 17th or the 22nd or whatever, when we get our gold from war, we don't have the resources to be building things willy-nilly. We really have to pick and choose and wait and see. And I think Dark Dimension 6 is so far away for most of us. Those G18 pieces so outrageously expensive that this team's going to sit on the bench, aside from possibly building up big time to gear tier 13, like I said, and throwing him in on defense and forgetting about it.
Okay. You might be right on that. The timing of Dark Dimension, gear 18 chase, it might be not viable to even bring in
I would
any of
hate
these
for
characters.
people to spend a lot of their resources building up any of these characters in preparation for DD6. And then just before we get into it, they release a city character that's perfect for DD6, that's cheap and very effective.
Like Minerva for Dark Dimension 2. Remember that?
Right? Yeah.
How tough it was for everybody before Minerva, and then when you got Minerva, everybody's super easy. So maybe a Minerva type character for City will be released from now till then. Let's talk about another legendary character, Nova, who was recently announced as an unlock for the next legendary character coming with this Nowhere team announces the next legendary character unlock. They say here, with the first run of Nova trials complete, we're excited to announce that another legendary character is coming later this year, a 5-person Nowhere team, including the legendary Nova, will require trade to unlock a character, so be sure to participate in all the fun events that reward team character shards. Legendary unlocking a legendary. This is not a first, but what do you think of this now with this being a Scourge character? Do you think Nova's event will return before this next legendary comes back or comes for the first time?
I definitely think his event will return beforehand. That's pretty traditional how they run that. They give us another chance before things get in play. They're letting us know, hey, you need to get him for this next legendary. So they're going to give us the opportunity to do that. And then I think that they'll probably sell him in some way like they ended up doing with the 4 Horsemen. So you'll get your opportunities to get in there and unlock this next legendary, whatever it is. And I think we're going to find out soon what that legendary is, because they want to push the sales of Nova, because they want to push people trying to get Nova. So I think all this will be revealed soon. Again, I don't know, but that's my feeling, is that it'll all be revealed soon.
All right, well, let's talk about Nova. A lot of people in chat this morning were saying he's the worst recent legendary character that we've got. Do you feel the same? I mean, he does have a battlefield effect, but I'm not really using him on War. He's not the best in Cosmic Crucible and doesn't have a lot of value in Arena and Raids. Are you using him? And if so, what kind of success are you having with him?
He reminds me of Healer ISO 8. You can put it on and build it up to blue 5 if you want. It feels ineffectual. His Nova battlefield effect just feels ineffectual. When Red Hulk pops off, you know you're gonna die soon if you don't win that match soon. His battlefield effect will destroy you. Nova's is just kind of some pretty green trim on the other side of the screen. It's just I don't feel it. And I'm finding Quicksilver to actually be a more impactful character than Nova. Like, I'm using Quicksilver in Crucible in places where Nova, I can't seem to really find a place where he works all that well. I've thrown him in on some defenses. I've used him as a secondary, like a plug and play fifth on some offensive teams, but I didn't need him for anything. He's not changing the way I play the game. So yeah, I'm actually surprised. I really thought he would be a much more powerful character, and he's turning out to be a little underwhelming.
His kit on paper looked strong, but in the game, just not as strong as we thought.
Yeah.
I mean, Absorbing Man, his kit looked awesome on paper, and then very meh.
I think we need the rest of the Nowhere team, because the rest of the Nowhere team is designed to ride inside his battlefield effect and really be boosted by it.
Right.
And I think that's where it's going to shine. But his battlefield effect doesn't seem to bring out the best in whatever match you're in, unlike the Red Hulk battlefield effect.
Gotcha. That's actually a perfect segue, because we have another legendary, not another legendary, another Nowhere coming tonight. The 5th final member of this Nowhere team, Thor, coming tonight. Is this, and a lot of people are saying this is the character on the Nowhere team that you should save your red star orbs for. He's the damaging character. You seem to agree. Why is this the best character to use your red stars on, Run?
Because he's the character you'll be using off of the team. He has a really useful kit with what he does. And it's a ton of piercing damage. Oh my goodness, it's so much piercing damage. It's crazy. Yeah, I like this character. I'm kind of like, as you read his kit though, you kind of realize, I think this was supposed to be a Thor rework, and this was supposed to be a Thor skin.
Yeah.
Because a lot of similar stuff to the other Thor's kit. And I don't think that they were able to make it mesh well with reworking the old Thor. And so that's why we got a new one. And I'm okay with it. It's fine. He looks cool. He looks incredibly powerful. You definitely want red stars for this character. And I think you will be able to use him off of the team in some other places because of what he can do.
All right, let's talk about these red stars, because we do know that a 4th original character is coming. Another Asgardian, by the way, in Vahl. Do you think just because she's the original character and based on the effectiveness on the previous 3 original characters, should we not be pushing our characters for a war character and saving them for another character that might be even better?
It works out differently for different players. For me, a free-to-play player, I roll my Elite 5s on everything. Okay. And so I do the Elite 4s, and if I get a 4 or a 5, I stop. And then if I don't get anything, I'll go into my Elite 5s, but I won't go any further than that. Of course, you save your basics for dark promotion credits. As soon as I get a red 4 or a red 5 on a character, I stop, because I'm not going to be able to build that character up to 6 stars as a free-to-play player, so it doesn't matter to me. However, when there is a Scopely original character, that's when I would open up my 6s and 7s, even though I'm not going to get that character to 6 or 7 anytime else. But when else am I going to open it, right? And then the other time that you open up 6s and 7s is when there is that super overly hyped character that we all just kind of know is going to be amazing, like Kang was, right? Yeah. He had some troubles at the start, but they got him there to match the hype that they put on him. They're not hyping Thor to that degree. He just has a solid, useful kit. He looks powerful, and I think he's going to be an important member of the team. So yeah, I want 5. I'd love 6 red stars on him, but I'm not going to get him to 6 yellow stars. So I think that's what people got to keep in mind is Are you a free-to-play player? Don't worry about going more than 4 reds on him. If you're a big-time spender and you're wondering, should I go open my elites 7s and stuff for this character? I'd say shoot for 6. I think he's important, and if you're a big spender, then you'll probably be using him in different game modes, not just war. And I think you'll get the value out of him as a 6 red star.
Yeah, I might do the same. Open 4s, 5s for Thor. Hopefully get something good, but if I don't, oh well, I could use my silver and gold promo credits on him, and using my 6 and 7s for Vahl when Vahl comes out. All right, last but not least, there's a big fundraising stream for charity that you're doing next week, Friday. What is the charity? What is this for? And what help do you need from the community to make this a success?
So we are doing a 6-hour charity stream for Games for Love. They are a charity that helps children who are in the hospital by getting them video games and helping them to spend their time not feel so down about being stuck in the hospital. So they do a lot of other things, and we'll be promoting them all along the way. But yes, Friday the 30th of this month, we'll be doing that stream at my usual time, 10 a.m. Central, until the blog drops. And I'm hoping to get as many Marvel Strike Force content creators to join in and contribute some of the milestones so that they can do silly, ridiculous things whenever we raise that much money.
I want to be there. I'm going to be out of town.
Yeah, I'd love to have you in there. You could pre-record something, and if we get to it,
okay, let's do that. Tell me what you want me to pre-record so I can be a part of it.
There's going to be lots of ridiculous milestones. People want me to eat lemons and saltine crackers and spicy chocolate and
That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
Tortilla flap off with my wife. All kinds of just weird shenanigans will be going on all through it. We'll be talking about Marvel Strike Force. Cerebro says that he is going to show up.
Nice.
I'm trying to get some of the other CMs to maybe show up and commit, whether they do a milestone of a pie in the face or something, or if they just come and hang out with us and talk Marvel Strike Force. But if you show up, it would be great. If we can get the viewers to come and help and raise some money for this wonderful cause, it would be fantastic. All the proceeds are going that way. And
nice.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a rewarding stream for me, and I haven't been able to really sell out to something, and I get to actually sell out to this because it's for a good cause.
It's a good cause as well. If it's for the kids. Anything for the kids is good. I like that. All right, so let everybody know where they can find you, your channels, your Discord, everything. What is all your information? And of course, it will be down below, guys, if you just want to click it.
YouTube, Twitch, and Discord are about the only places I'm really active on.
Nice.
And those links, I guess, will be down below. And that's kind of it. So, tune in for the daily recap. I like to try and keep people in touch.
This is growing. It's growing. You said the number that it's getting more and more popular. I like that video.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a short form information.
It's like the news. It's like the news video, but daily and a minute or two.
Like 1/200th of what we just did.
All right, brother. Thank you. Awesome stuff, guys. Check out the stream next week that he's doing. Check out the links down below. And yeah, if you want to see what is going on with the latest in the Marvel Strike Force Players Voice community, the link for their Discord is going to be down below as well. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see what are the best teams you should be building, make sure you check out this video. I will see you guys next time. Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin Run 7. Out. Have a great day, guys.